Hello, everyone. It's RV here, and we are back. Football is back tonight. Tonight is opening night for football, and we are making our football predictions 3 hours before the season starts. Literally, it's 3:04. I believe the season starts at 6:30. I want to say with Eagles Cowboys. I'll give my prediction on that game right now. Philadelphia wins 35-9. They steamroll Dallas. It's gonna be a rough showing for Dallas, especially on defense. But we're here for NFL predictions. We're gonna predict where everyone finishes in their respective division, playoff teams, MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and then offensive and defensive rookies of the year. And then also the new award for offensive lineman protector of the year. So, yeah, should be really fun. I'm really excited about this season so much that I'm wearing a baseball jersey. What a time to wear that. But yeah, I'm really excited. Let's dive right into the predictions. Let's start with the NFC North, and coming in last place. And before I say who's coming in last place, in my opinion, I should say that I think every team in this division can win the division. I think it's really interchangeable. It's going to be very hard to predict who finishes where in this division, because I honestly think all 4 of these teams can make the playoffs. But coming in last place, I unfortunately have the Vikings. Now, the Vikings, I think, are a good team, but there's some factors against them that are really going to hurt. Jordan Addison obviously got suspended. C.J. Ham's on IR. They have a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy, basically a rookie quarterback. But honestly, I still think because Kevin O'Connell, he's such a quarterback wizard, I still think he can make J.J. McCarthy look like a really good quarterback. I honestly think the Vikings can win the division, but because of that question mark, I have them in last. But I still think they're going to be either right around or just outside of playoff contention. Aaron Jones is back for another year. Justin Jefferson, we all know how good he is. They traded for Jordan Mason. that was a really good addition. They even brought back Adam Thielen. I really like the Vikings offense, honestly. They got JJ with some really good weapons. Hell, I forgot to even mention TJ Hawkinson. And Jalen Naylor, I thought, looked really nice. They're getting Christian Darrisaw back, although CJ Ham started this year on IR, which definitely sucks, but it is what it is. I like the additions of Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. I think they're going to be great veteran talent. And then, honestly, I like their defensive line a lot now. Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, I like those signings. Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel are monsters. And then Blake Cashman, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the league. He is a really good linebacker, one of my favorite linebackers to watch. I can't wait to watch him this year. And then out in the secondary, they still have Harrison Smith. Byron Murphy is still here. Obviously, yeah, the Vikings lost a lot of pieces. Like, I know Cameron Bynum left and many others on this team. But they did a good job of replacing all these players. Right? Isaiah Rodgers, I like him. Josh Metellus, Mr. Do-It-All. He plays everywhere. He's such a valuable guy to have on that defense. And even their special teams. Will Reichert looked really good his rookie year. And Ryan Wright, he looks like a solid punter. But yeah, I think the Vikings, they have a really good team all across the board. It's just the question mark of J.J. McCarthy is kind of weighing me down. I fully, honestly expect the Vikings to do better than this, honestly. I don't know. I just got to see how J.J. McCarthy is. I haven't seen him yet. That's why I have him down here. And if he looks good and the Vikings, win the NFC North like they almost did last year, I'm fully admit to say I was wrong about the Vikings. But I do have them finishing in 4th, but they have a really good team. Coming in 3rd place, I have the Chicago Bears. Now, the Bears, they got Ben Johnson as their new head coach. They drafted Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. I like those a lot. They traded for Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson to help out an offensive line that got Caleb sacked a lot last year. I think Darnell Wright's going to blossom into a good right tackle as well. Running back game's a little suspect. DeAndre Swift is solid. Roshan Johnson's solid. Obviously, you still have DJ Moore, who is probably one of the most underrated receivers in the league. And then I think Caleb's going to do pretty good this year. I think he's going to be even better than what he was. Now, the defense. I really love the signing of Grady Jarrett. I think he's going to be a leader on that defense, as well as Kevin Byard. Still have Jalen Johnson. Still have Jaquan Brisker. Hopefully Tyreek Stevenson can turn around after a rough last year. Kyler Gordon is still there. Their secondary is young and filled with a lot of good pieces. And then the defensive line, I mentioned Grady Jarrett earlier and Montez Sweat. That's going to be a fun combo up the middle and off the edge. Montez is an edge rusher. And then Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards in the middle as the linebackers. Yeah, the Bears, they have a ton of talent on their defense. And honestly, I think they have the best punter in the league. Torrey Taylor was awesome as a rookie last year. I think he's honestly the best punter in the league, and he's a rookie. It's either him or A.J. Cole. I'm really high on what Torrey Taylor can do this year. And then Cairo Santos is a pretty good kicker. The Bears have a ton of talent on this team. It's just with a new coach and Ben Johnson, can they put it all together? I think they can. I just have to see it. And once again, like the Vikings, I will fully apologize to Bear fans if I'm wrong about their prediction. But I have the Bears coming in third, and they all of these teams are so stacked. They're so stacked. Like, oh man, they have so much talent. I fully expect the Bears to be in playoff contention this year. Then coming in second place, and I had them winning the division until the Packers traded for Micah Parsons. As soon as the Packers traded for Micah Parsons, and I know one player doesn't make a team like that much better, but in Micah Parsons' way, it kind of does. So as you obviously can tell now, I have the Lions coming in second. The Lions, they lost Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, their coordinators. Frank Ragnow retired. Shout out Frank. It was a hell of a career. I really wish you were still a Lion. He was honestly one of my favorite Lions on the team. I won't lie. But you still have Jared Goff. You still have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Sam Laporta. All the weapons are still elite. Taylor Decker's still here. Penei Sewell, who's probably one of the best, if not the best, offensive lineman in the NFC and football. He's back. You lost Kevin Zeitler to the Titans, which is unfortunate. But you have Graham Glasgow. I think that's how you say his last name. You have him. He's solid. And then the defense. Hopefully it doesn't get ravaged by injuries this year. Aiden Hutchinson is back. DJ Reader's still up the middle. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, the linebacking core. Three really good linebackers. Terrion Arnold, and then probably the best safety duo in the league, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. And then DJ Reed and Amik Robertson. Like, the secondary is really good. The linebacking core is really good. Defensive line could use some work. But overall, this team should be really good if they don't fall apart. Their special teams should be good. Jack Fox is a really good punter. Jake Bates. Why did I say Jake Bates? Jake Bates is a really good kicker. And I feel really good about the Lions this year, but I was going to have them win the division until the Packers made that trade. And I think the Packers, that trade really changed this team. And the Green Bay Packers, in my opinion, are going to win the NFC North. Jordan Love is back. Hopefully he can bounce back after a kind of rough sophomore year. The Packers were kind of like the Lions in a way. They fell apart towards the end due to injury. Josh Jacobs is still here. He's amazing. You still have Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs, and then you drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams as receivers there. They look pretty solid. Tucker Kraft is the new tight end of the future for Green Bay. I really like him. And then the offensive line. Elton Jenkins can play everywhere. They got him listed at center. Zach Tom was a really good right tackle. Rasheed Walker hopefully can bounce back after a sophomore slump and show the potential he showed his rookie year, which was really good. And then the Packers signed Aaron Banks, who comes over from the Niners. Then on defense, Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons are edge rushing. That is crazy. That is a elite rushing duo off the edge. You got Devontae Wyatt up the middle, Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker in the linebacker spots. Keyshawn Nixon is starting at corner, and he's also going to be the kick returner, so it'll be a lot of work for Keyshawn this year. Evan Williams is back after missing the last part of the season due to injury, I'm pretty sure. Nate Hobbs, who they signed over from the Raiders, he should be really fun to watch. And then, obviously, the big man out there in the secondary, Xavier McKinney. I can't wait to see what he does in his second year in the green and gold. And then Brandon McManus. He's the kicker. He gave the Packers some stability at kicker when he signed with them. And I fully expect them to stay the same, honestly. And Brandon McManus, probably one of the best kickers of the 2000s, honestly, of this century. He's been really good. He was really good as a Bronco, and Jaguars' term was forgettable, but he's found his Broncos form again in Green Bay. But yeah, this Packers team, it's really stacked across the board, just like basically all of these teams. And yeah, I honestly think that Micah Parsons trade really rejuvenized and excited this team. Everybody in Wisconsin, because I live in Wisconsin, they're all happy. They're really excited, and I honestly think that trade's going to be the reason why the Packers win the division. And if I'm wrong, oh well. But yeah, Packers win the NFC North. Now, let's move on to the NFC South, and we'll start with the last place team, the Saints. Ugh. They do not have a lot going for them right now. Spencer Rattler is your quarterback. Tyler Shough is second string. I'm sure they're both going to flip-flop the starting job this year. You still have Alvin Kamara. Hopefully Chris Olave can stay healthy, as well as Rashid Shaheed. Juwan Johnson is your tight end right now, as Taysom Hill is out. Yeah, Juwan Johnson is really good. The Saints' offensive line, I'm not sure how it is going to be. Obviously, Ryan Ramczyk retired due to injury. Really, the only veteran you have on the offensive line is Eric McCoy. But, yeah, I'm really not too confident in the Saints' offensive line right now. Then their defense. Cam Jordan's still here. Carl Granderson had a really good season last year. Still have DeMario Davis. Chase Young hopefully can improve from last year. You signed Justin Reed, who I think is a really good getting him from the Chiefs. Alante Taylor was a really good quarter last year. I think Kool-Aid McKinstry can really turn into a really good quarter. Also got Brian Breesy on the defensive line. And, hold on a second. Is this who I think this is? Hold on. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is who I think this is. Wow, the Colt. I know there's gonna be another time where I'm like this, but this is the first of many. Wow, he signed here. Moments I've had on camera, but Julian Blackmon, the old Colts safety, is a Saint. It's a pretty good get for them. I didn't even know he was on the Saints. That's really cool. Yeah, they're second. I I think the strength of this team is honestly their secondary. Their offense, I don't think is going to really do that well, even though they have Olave, Kamara, and Shaheed. But the secondary is probably the best thing of the Saints. Hopefully Blake Grupe can bounce back after an inconsistent first year as their kicker. But yeah, this Saints team doesn't really excite me. Besides the secondary, and Olave, Shaheed, and Kamara, and Jawan Johnson. But yeah, I don't think much is going to happen for the Saints this year. I'm going to have them finishing in last. Coming in third, I have, and this is going to be a shock to many people. Many people are going to be shocked by this, and I don't blame you. But I actually have the Falcons coming in third. And hear me out. Falcons, Penix is the quarterback. Bijan Robinson is your running back. You still have Drake London. Darnell Mooney was solid, was pretty good for you last year. Not solid, he was really good, actually. And Kyle Pitts is still a thing. But you're going to lose Caleb McGarry. He's on IR. Still have Chris Lindstrom, who is a really good offensive lineman, playing at right guard. But the defense, it took a big loss when they lost Grady Jarrett. But they did sign Leonard Floyd. Caden Ellis is one of my favorite players in the league. I really like watching him. He's very disruptive. He's a really good linebacker. He's going to be worldwide known by the time the season ends. A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates, really good corner and safety. But this defense does not have much, and that scares me. They don't have as much as they did last year, in my opinion. And that's what really scares me. Obviously, we'll get a full season of Michael Penix, who looked solid to the end of last year. But at least the Falcons' special team is good. Still have Young Wei Koo and Bradley Pinion. So yeah, I like their special teams. I like their weapons. I forgot to mention Kyle Pitts, didn't I? Yeah, Kyle Pitts exists. The fantasy meme himself. But the defense, it scares me. It really scares me, especially losing one of the best players in franchise history, Grady Jarrett, who signed with the Bears this offseason. He was a really good leader for that team, too. So it's really going to hurt losing him. But yeah, the Falcons' defense scares me. Hopefully Michael Penix can turn into that guy officially this year. But I'm going to have the Falcons finishing in third. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, boys. Carolina's finishing second. Carolina's finishing second. Bryce Young, oh, man. After he got benched, he looked so good, man. He looked so good. I'm really excited for Bryce Young. They signed Rico Dowdle to be Chuba Hubbard's backup. That's a great 1-2 punch. Drafted Teteroa McMillan, who I think will be Rookie of the Year on offense. I said it. And Xavier Legette. You have those two together. That's going to be a really fun combo. Obviously traded Thielen away. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. This team's young. Adam Thielen's probably not going to fit your timeline. Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt on the offensive line are pretty fun. You lost Bradley Bozeman, which is unfortunate. Or at least you still have those two. And then on the defense, Derek Brown is hopefully back for the full season. You signed Trayvon Merrick, which is a really good get, in my opinion. J.C. Horn is still here. He got paid. Signed Pat Jones off the Vikings and Ashawn Robinson off the Giants to beef up your D-line. I honestly like this team. I like this team. Defense could be a little suspect. It might be a struggle on defense, but I think the offense this year will have enough firepower to make up for that. And I think Carolina is going to be in playoff contention this year. So, yeah, I have Carolina finishing in second, overtaking the Falcons this year in the division. But coming in first for I think ever since 2020, it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers, you still got Baker, Bucky Irving, and Rachaad White. Two really good running backs in different ways. Bucky on the ground, Rachaad White through the air. Mike Evans, Mr. Consistent, is still here, still doing his thing, looking for another 1K season. Chris Godwin is hurt, which sucks, but he'll be back, as well as Tristan Wirfs, hopefully. That's two key players to your team that are hurt. Hopefully they come back. But you got Graham Barton, you got Cody Mauch, you got Luke Goedeke. I know I said that wrong. But that offensive line is going to be pretty solid, pretty good, I should say, for the Bucs. Then on defense, Vita Vea, the big man, he's still here. Yaya Diaby, I think, is going to be really good. Levante David still man in the middle. Hassan Reddick, hopefully looking to get back to his Eagles form. Got Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield in the secondary. Antoine Winfield, what a disruptor he is. Zion McCollum looked pretty good. And you still got Chase McLaughlin kicking. So the Buccaneers, they have a really good team. They should go back to the playoffs as long as they can stay healthy. Hopefully you get Godwin and Wirfs back as soon as possible. And, Tampa Bay, they win the NFC South for, in my opinion, the 6th year in a row ever since this decade started. What a statement that would be if that actually is true. So now we have the NFC West. And coming in last, it is the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks. I'm looking at this offensive line and ooh boy. Not looking good. Not good at all for one Sam Darnold who signed with the Seahawks. So Sam Darnold, it has been widely known that he struggles with a team that has a really, really bad offensive line. That's what's happened in the past with the Jets and Carolina at times. And honestly, I think it might happen here. But you have Kenneth Walker, who hopefully can find some juice to go back to his rookie year form. Even though he still was a pretty solid running back last year. He just got hurt. You got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had a monster season last year, looking to do it again. Cooper Kupp is now a Seahawk. He's DK Metcalf's replacement, as Metcalf got traded to Pittsburgh. Hopefully Cooper Kupp can stay on the field, but that's really it for their receiving core. It's really just going to be JSN and Cooper Kupp, and if Cooper Kupp goes down, I think the Seahawks season might go down with it, especially if Darnold struggles behind that offensive line. Defense, though, I think it's going to be a really good defense. Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence going to be going after the quarterback. That's going to be fun. Ernest Jones as a linebacker, he can tackle. He's really good. Boye Mafe, another really good linebacker. And then their secondary, Reek Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, one of the best corner duos in the league. Kobe Bryant and Julian Love, a really good safety duo. Honestly, really underrated safety duo. Love had a really good season last year. Kobe Bryant's been really good in the past. And Jason Myers is still the kicker. So I like the Seahawks defense. I think their defense is going to keep them in games and their special teams because they still have Jason Myers. I forgot to mention Michael Dixon. He's been with them for so long. For good reason. He's a pretty good punter. But the offense is what I think is dragging this team back. Sam Darnold behind a really shaky offensive line is what's going to hold the Seahawks back. And I think, unfortunately, that's why they're going to finish in fourth. Defense should be pretty good. I hope it's pretty good. Because a good defense, can, even with a bad offense, can keep you in close games. But unfortunately, you can be in close games, but you're not going to win them with a bad offense. So if the Seahawks offense is bad, I think they're going to finish in last. Coming in third place, we got the 49ers. And the 49ers, yikes. Brock Purdy is back. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt again, as well as Christian McCaffrey. Traded for Brian Robinson, who should be a good backup and possibly starter if McCaffrey goes down again. But Jawan Jennings, because Brandon Ayuk is hurt, is your wide receiver 1. This team is still feeling the injury effect from last year. I think that's going to play into why I think they're going to struggle and ultimately miss the playoffs again and finish in 3rd in the West, even with a really light schedule. Ricky Pearsall, I think, could be his breakout. George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk are still here, as well as Trent Williams, but that offensive line doesn't look the greatest, even with Trent. And then the defense. Still have Bosa, still have Warner, still have Demo Lenore, but they lost a lot of their defense. Hufunga's gone. Greenlaw's gone. There's many more. Charvarius Ward is gone. There's a lot that is gone in this 49ers team. And it's definitely not the same as their Super Bowl run from 2 years ago, I want to say. 2 seasons ago. They were in the Super Bowl and lost to Kansas City. But, yeah, besides Lenore, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, I don't see much on the defense, and that's what scares me with this team. Hopefully Jake Moody can bounce back after a struggling season last year. But at least you got one of the greatest punters ever in Thomas Morstead. At least you got him. So he should probably pin people back deep. But the defense, I don't know how it's going to be. Offense, yeah, I don't know. The 49ers are just a big question mark along the board, and they're still feeling the injury effects of last year. And yeah, they trade a lot of people. They trade a lot of people away. Some people left at free agency. Paid Brock at least. But yeah, no more Debo. No more Ward, Greenlaw, like I mentioned, and Hufunga. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know about the 49ers this year. I don't think they're going to be that great. So San Fran comes home in 3rd and coming in 2nd. Boy, oh boy, I really hope they can do well this year. I really want this team to do good. I got the Arizona Cardinals finishing in 2nd and having a chance at making the playoffs. That's right. I think the Cardinals get into playoff contention for them. Kyler Murray, I think, will bounce back. James Conner is Mr. Consistent. He is always very good. Marvin Harrison Jr. is jacked now. I think he'll be better. Trey McBride hopefully will get more than 1 touchdown last year. Or I shouldn't say that. I don't know how many touchdowns he had. But hopefully he can score his first touchdown before the end of the season. And then the offensive line, Paris Johnson Jr. and Jonah Williams. They got them. I like them. I think they'll be pretty good on the tackle spots. Cardinals are the best tackles. Their best offensive lineman is tackles. So I think they got the tackle spot really good. They got the blind side really good. And then here's their defense. Josh Sweat was a big get from Philly. I really like that they got Josh Sweat. That was a really good signing by them. Calais Campbell's back for another ride. They got a really good secondary with Max Melton, Buda Baker, who is still here, still kicking it with the Cards, Jalen Thompson, and then my defensive rookie of the year, Will Johnson from Michigan. I really liked what he did at Michigan. I think he's going to transfer that over to the NFL. Special teams, not sure how that's going to go, especially with Chad Ryland as your kicker. Blake Gillikin, I can't really comment on him because I don't really watch punters that much. And the punters I do watch are pretty good, so I have to watch more of Blake. And yeah, sure, the Cardinals do have some holes, I'd say. Linebackers probably, but secondary is good. Josh Sweat should wreck some things. Hopefully he gets some help in the pass rush so he doesn't get double teamed. And then the weapons, sure, they're not as much as some of the big teams in the NFL, or in the NFC, I should say. But I think Kyler's going to do enough. He's going to create as much chaos as he can. And I think that he and this team are going to ride this all the way to the playoffs and finish second in the division to the LA Rams. The Rams, man, oh man, they have a team. Matthew Stafford is still here. He's healthy, I think. Kyron Williams, one of the best running backs in the league. Still got Puka Nacua. Lost Cup, but replaced him with Devontae Adams, which I think is even better. Then the offensive line, Kevin Dotson and Rob Evenstein are the best two offensive linemen there, in my opinion. And then the defense. Oh, man, this defense. They have some names. Braden Fisk, Poona Ford, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Jared Verse, all going after the quarterback. In the secondary, Darius Williams, Cameron Curl, Quentin Lake, Akello Witherspoon, Kobe Durant. Like, this team, the secondary and the defensive line is stacked. It is stacked. I really like how this team is built on defense. Their offense should be electric. Their defense should be electric. This should be an electric team, an electric LA team. This team is built for LA. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go far in the playoffs this year. And still have Ethan Evans as your punter. I like Ethan Evans. And then Joshua Carty kicking the ball again for the second straight season. So, yeah, the Rams, they look really good. This looks like an electric, a fun team. I really can't wait to see how the Rams look when they play their first game. I think they play Sunday afternoon slot. So, yeah, really excited to see how the Rams look this year, and I have them winning the West. Now we go to the NFC East. And coming in last, the Giants. And I think this is the last year for Brian Dable and company and that whole regime in New York. Russell Wilson is the starter. Tyrone Tracy is still the running back. He showed some flashes. Malik Neighbors is a monster. And then the offensive line, it's basically Andrew Thomas leading the way. But then the defense should be really good. You got Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter going after the quarterback. I like watching Bobby Okereke. He should be up the middle, stopping some things. Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland, they're big signings in the secondary. I think those are really good gets. And to join Deontay Banks. And then gets good old Graham Gano hanging around kicking things. So just like the Seahawks, I think the Giants, their defense is going to keep them in games because it's going to be good. But it's their offense that's going to be the problem, and it's going to keep them from winning those close games. And probably the big question is, how long is it until Jackson Dart is the starting quarterback for New York? I think that's the big question. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to finish the season as the starter. I think it'll either be Jackson Dart or Jameis, because you never know. Dart and Russ might go down. Or it could be Russ, and he could go back to Seahawks for him. Who knows? But, yeah, I don't think New York's going to do much this year. They're going to finish in fourth. Coming in third, it's the Dallas Cowboys. And, man, oh, man. Yeah, this is a team. The Cowboys. Dak's still your quarterback. Still got CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Well, you now have George Pickens. He's your wide receiver, too. You traded for him from Pittsburgh. Jake Ferguson's still here. And then you got the Tyler offensive line, Guyton, Smith, and Booker, as well as Cooper Beebe and Terrence Steele. I think the offensive line is going to be the best part of the team. And then the defense, which I think obviously has lost its luster because of, the trade last week. But you got Kenny Clark now, who hopefully will return to his 2023 form. Osa Odigizua is still here. Hopefully Dante Fowler can be just as good as he was for Washington last season. Kenneth Murray is a solid linebacker. Malik Hooker, Trayvon Diggs, and the recently extended Deron Bland out in the secondary. Should be really good. And you still have Brandon Aubrey and Brian Anker kicking and punting for the Cowboys. So hopefully for them, they can get DeMarvion Overshown back, because I think he's going to be the new Micah Parsons when he is healthy. But yeah, it's not looking great for Dallas. I think my favorite part of the team is the offensive line. My least favorite part of the team is the running back room, unless Jaden Blue is the starter, which I think Jaden Blue could be a very good running back if he gets the opportunity to be the running back one. Because Javonte, ever since he tore his ACL in his sophomore year, he hasn't looked the same, and Miles Sanders doesn't have his Eagles form either. So yeah, I have the Cowboys coming home in third. The defense, I think, is going to be, well, obviously going to be a lot worse after trading away arguably your best player on the team. Definitely best player on the defense. So, yeah, Dallas will come home in third. Now in second, we have the Washington Commanders, who just miss out on winning the division again. Jane Daniels, in his second season as quarterback. Can only go up from here, right? Austin Eckler is a starting running back. That is my favorite thing I have seen in a while. I am so happy for Austin Eckler. I hope he balls out. You paid Terry McLaurin. You traded for Debo. Noah Brown is here still. He's probably going to be a franchise icon forever because of that Hail Mary play. He's going to be remembered for a long time out there in D.C. Zach Ertz was really good last year. Hopefully he can be just as good again this year. Traded for Laramie Tunsil. Tyler Biadasz is your center. I like that a lot for this team. Yeah, I really like this offense. I think it should be a really fun team. Sam Cosmi is out, which is unfortunate on the offensive line. That's a big loss for now, but hopefully he can come back. Defense. It is very interesting. Deron Payne is still here. Obviously, you lost Jonathan Allen. But you got Frankie Louvu, who was an All-Pro last year. He's one of the best linebackers in the league. Is one of the best linebackers in the league. And then you still got Bobby Wagner, who is still really good. Von Miller is now a commander. Hopefully that goes well. And then out in the secondary, Marshawn Lattimore and Mikey Sainristil. That is going to be fun. That'll be fun to watch. I think Mikey's going to be big for the Commanders this year. He's going to break out. And got Matt Gay as the kicker and Tress Way as the punter. Tress Way still kicking around. Matt Gay on another new team. Hopefully Matt Gay can turn back into Super Bowl year Matt Gay for this team, because he was really good with the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, I have Washington being really good this year, but unfortunately, they just missed out on winning the division to the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl last year, are just basically the same as they are this year. Jalen Hurts still the quarterback. Saquon Barkley hopefully will break the record this year. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are still the wide receivers on this team. They are both elite, as well as Dallas Goedert. And then that offensive line. It only lost one starter last year, and that was Mekhi Becton. He's now a Charger. But you got Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and Lane Johnson still right there. So I think that offensive line will still be at the top of the league like they always are. Defense, yeah, they lost a lot of pieces. You lost Josh Sweat. You lost Milton Williams. Darius Slay is no longer here. But you still got guys. You got Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, and Cooper DeJean in the secondary, as well as Sidney Brown, who I think will be really good for them. You don't have the Kobe Dean right now, which sucks. But that's okay. You still have Zach Bond, Nolan Smith Jr., Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. And then Jake Elliott is still the kicker, and Braden Mann is still the punter. So, yeah, teams should be just fine. Eagles should still be just fine. They should win the division again. And they didn't really, from the things they lost, they kind of filled those holes. And I think they'll be fine this year. I think they're going to be just as good as last year. So those are my division winners in the NFC. The Packers, the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Eagles. Now, I got to pick my 3 wildcard teams. And this is going to be tough. Besides the first 2. Detroit and Washington get in again. I have both of them getting in again. But there's so many other good teams out there. Like the Bears, and the Vikings, and the Falcons, and the Panthers. And the Cardinals even. I forgot about them. But those are the teams who I think it'll come down to. And I'm drinking their Kool-Aid. I think they're going to be really good this year, and I think they're going to break through and get into the playoffs. Panthers, they're going to the playoffs. My 3 wildcard teams are the Lions, Commanders, and the Panthers. To join the Packers, Eagles, Buccaneers, and the Rams. Those are my 7 NFC playoff teams. Now, let's go to the AFC and start with the AFC North, where the Cleveland Browns will finish in last. And the Browns, their quarterback room is a mess. Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback. You lost Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford is his replacement. Jerome Ford is solid, but he's not prime Nick Chubb. I don't know if Jerry Jeudy replicates his success from last year. David Njoku should be pretty good. He's probably going to be the best weapon that the Browns are going to have this year. Then the offensive line, Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller are still here. You got DeJuan Jones at left tackle. Ethan Pocic is the center. And then Jack Conklin is the tackle, right tackle. Then the defense. Losing Martin Emerson Jr. for the year sucks. He is arguably, you could honestly argue that Denzel Ward is the best core on the team, or Martin Emerson Jr., or even Greg Newsome. Like, their secondary is so damn good. Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Martin Emerson Jr., well, not now, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman. I like their secondary. I like pretty much every starter in their secondary. I think their secondary is going to be the best part of the team. It's just the linebackers and the defensive line, besides Myles Garrett and Mason Graham, that worry me about this team. And the special teams worry me too. Like this kicker. Ooh, boy. I'm going to have trouble pronouncing his last name. Andre Smythe. And then Corey Bojorquez, which, ugh. But yeah, this Cleveland defense, besides the secondary, does not look great. And their offense doesn't look great either. So I think Cleveland's going to come home with last place once again in the AFC North. Coming in third. Hold on. I got to pause this. I need more drink. Got my drinks. And we're back. Pittsburgh Steelers finished third in the AFC North. There it is. They missed the playoffs too, and finish with a below 500 record. Yes, I think the streak ends this year for Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers, the new quarterback. That doesn't really. No, that's not going to be good for you. They lost Najee Harris. That also really stinks, because Najee was really consistent for them. Jalen Warren is the running back one. He should pick up the slack, though. DK Metcalf was the new receiver one. They traded for him, but then obviously traded Pickens away. I think Calvin Austin's going to have a sneaky good year this year, and Pat Freiermuth is back, as well as Jonnu Smith. They have 2 tight ends this year. That should be fun. Offensive line, I like Broderick Jones. Zach Frazier was really good his first year. Hopefully he can be just as good this year. And Isaac Seumalo. I said that wrong. I know I did. I think he's going to be really fun as well. I like those 3 on the line. Defense. Still have Cam Hayward. TJ Watt. Got those 2. Keanu Benton is going to be fun. He's a really good player. Patrick Queen and Alex Highsmith as well. I like them too. Darius Slay, Deshaun Elliott, Joey Porter Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Juan Thornhill. I really like this defense. This defense is really fun, and I think Chris Boswell is going to be the best kicker in football this year. But the defense should be really fun. They're honestly probably going to carry the Steelers to the playoffs if we're being realistic. But I don't know. I just think the offense is just going to struggle this year with Aaron Rodgers. I don't have much confidence in him at all, and I think it's going to be a sour way to end off a really good career. Really great career, honestly. So yeah, Steelers finished 3rd. Coming in 2nd, the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, their defense sucks, but their offense is still elite. Joe Burrow, still the quarterback. Chase Brown, hopefully builds on a really good season last year. Paid Jamar Chase, paid T. Higgins. Yoshi Voss is solid. Mike Gesicki is solid. And then the offensive line. Orlando Brown is still here. Ted Karras is still here. Hopefully Amarius Mims can build on last season. I like those 3 on the offensive line. Now the defense. You paid Trey Hendrickson, which is nice, although only for a year. B.J. Hill, really good D tackle. Not many people know about him, but he is really good. Still have Logan Wilson in the middle as the linebacker. Secondary, I don't really know how their secondary is going to be. I think Cam Taylor-Britt's going to be really good this year. And then Evan McPherson's still the kicker. So, yes, the defense I think is going to struggle again. But I think the offense is going to do even more than last year. And it's going to push them over the edge, and they're going to make the playoffs. That's my thoughts on the Bengals. I think they'll finally make the playoffs for the first time since they lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship the year after going to the Super Bowl. So I have the Bengals finishing in 2nd, but the Ravens finishing in 1st again. And man, oh man, this Ravens offense should be probably even better than what it was last year. Lamar's still the quarterback. King Henry's still running. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and D-Hop are your receivers. Mark Andrews is the tight end 1. Not sure how long he'll be the tight end 1 after Isaiah Likely comes back from injury. Ah, damn it, I spilled water on myself. Pat Ricard, he is still here. He's still kicking around as the fullback. Then the offensive line. Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Linderbaum, and Roger Rosengarten are the 3 stalwarts on the line. They're going to be fun to watch this year. They're going to be hard to get around. And then the defense. Woo! Nnamdi Madubuike, Odafe Owe, Kyle Van Noy going after the quarterback. Roquan Smith, man in the middle. He's going to be tackling some things. They signed Jair Alexander. Hopefully he can stay on the field for a full year this year. Nate Wiggins should be really good. Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey are probably going to be all pros again. Malachi Starks, even as a rookie, I think is going to be pretty good. Unfortunately, Justin Tucker had some stuff come up about him, so he's no longer the kicker. It is now Tyler Loop. And we'll see how the special teams are this year, but it is well behind the days of Tucker kicking and Cook as the punter. Which, when those two were on the Ravens, that was the best special teams year in and year out of football. But yes, once again, the Ravens have a good enough team to go back and make the Super Bowl for the first time since, when the hell did they win it with Flacco? 2012 season? Was it 2012 season, I think? I think so. But, yeah, we'll see what the Ravens can do this year. I have them winning the division. Now let's go to the AFC South, and coming in last, Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones is your quarterback. You're not winning much. Jonathan Taylor, still a really good running back. Michael Pittman's still here. Josh Downs and Alec Pierce, I think, are solid. Drafted Tyler Warren, who I think is going to help out Daniel Jones. But you lost a lot on that offensive line. Ryan Kelly and Will Fries aren't here. You have Quentin Nelson still. Still have Braden Smith. Bernhard Raymond is still here. But besides them, But the defense, like what I said about the Seahawks and the... there's another team where I said their defense is going to keep them in games. On the NFC side, I'm forgetting. Oh, dear God. Who was it? The Giants. The Giants. That's who it was. The Seahawks and the Giants. Besides, just like the Seahawks and the Giants, I think your defense is going to keep you in the game enough where you're going to have close games and possibly win a few. I think their defensive line is the best in the AFC. Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, Laitu Latu, Samson Ebukam. They're all really good players on the defensive line. Zaire Franklin is in the middle as a linebacker. He's really fun to watch. You got Charvarius Ward and Cam Bynum and Xavier Howard in the secondary. Those new additions should make the secondary pretty good. Nick Cross and Kenny Moore as well. So yeah, I really like the Colts defense, but I hate their offense a lot, honestly. And I think that's what's going to hold them back. Probably even worse than the Seahawks and the Giants. And I honestly have the Colts finishing behind the Titans in the division. Because I think Daniel Jones is going to be that bad this year. I don't know. But the quarterback carousel rolls on for the Colts. And, yeah, they come home in last in the AFC South. So coming home in third, it's the Titans, and they are in a rebuilding year. Cam Ward is the new quarterback. He is the first overall pick in the draft. I think he could be really good this year. Got Tony Pollard, but Tyjae Spears is starting the season on IR, which stinks. Receivers, you got Calvin Ridley, who's going to be Cam Ward's best target besides the tight end, Chiga Kongwu. And you got the veteran experience of Tyler Lockett. That should help. Offensive line, I think, is going to be really fun. Dan Moore. Not sure how he's going to be. But besides him, Peter Skoronski. Lloyd Cushenberry's been solid as a Titan. Kevin Zeitler coming over after a Pro Bowl season with the Lions. And J.C. Latham, just like Skoronski, trying to build on a solid first season. Defense. Harold Landry's no longer here. That is very unfortunate. Still have Jeffrey Simmons. That's really the only thing they got on the defensive line. Cody Barton and Arden Key should be fun as linebackers. L'Jarius Sneed hopefully can bounce back after a rough first season in Tennessee. Jarvis Brownlee looked pretty good as a corner. I think he and L'Jarius are going to be really good this year. Joey Sly as the kicker concerns me, but Johnny Hecker as the punter doesn't concern me. Johnny Hecker is one of the best punters to ever do it. So, he should really help out the Titans this year. Johnny Hekker might honestly be the best. He's not going to be the best Titan on the team, but he's going to be one of the top 5 best Titans on the team, probably. And, yeah, this is a rebuilding year for the Titans. This is just a hopium year, if you will, for Tennessee. Hopefully their big names can show out this year. And they can really build something for the future. That's what the Titans' goal is this year. And they'll come home in 3rd in the division. Coming home in 2nd is a rejuvenized Jacksonville Jaguars team. New coach, Liam Cohen. Trevor Lawrence, still the quarterback. Travis Etienne, the running back, worries me. But you got Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter at receiver. And Diami Brown could be pretty good too. Tight end, lost Ingram, which stinks. Offensive line worries me. Defense should be fun. Josh Hines Allen and Trevon Walker rushing the quarterback. That's probably one of the best rushing the quarterback tandems in the league. Eric Armstead in the middle of the defensive line as well is really cool. And then the linebacking core of Foye Oluokun and Devin Lloyd is going to be really fun to watch. Secondary is going to be very fun, or I shouldn't say very fun. It's going to be different. Tyson Campbell is the best player in the secondary, and he's really the only star besides, if they play him, Travis Hunter. But keep an eye on Cam Little. He drilled a 70-yard field goal in the preseason this year. I can't wait to see how he does this season. And Logan Cook is the punter. They still have him around. But overall, the Jags, they can be a fringe playoff team. I don't know if they will make the playoffs. But just like the Titans, this is kind of a build year and a year to try and make it back to the postseason. So I have Jacksonville coming home in 2nd, but the Texans retain their crown as the AFC South champions. And the offense is going to be very interesting. Laramie Tunsil is gone. They trade him to Washington. But you still have Titus Howard and Laken Tomlinson on the offensive line. Dalton Schultz is still the tight end. CJ Stroud is still the QB. Nick Chubb is the starting running back since Joe Mixon is hurt. Tank Dell is going to be out for the year, obviously, with that gruesome injury. And then you still have Nico Collins. And you traded for Christian Kirk, who is a solid receiver. But the offensive line really worries me about Houston this season. Defense, though, is going to be probably one of the best defenses in the league. Top 3 for sure. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter are going to be wrecking shit on the defensive line. They're going to be going after quarterbacks and taking souls. I think I might went a little too far there. Henry, 2020, Aziz Al-Shire, and Christian Harris and EJ Speed are really solid linebackers. I like them a lot. Their secondary is really fun. Derek Stingley, Kalen Bullock, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petre, and CJ Gardner-Johnson, who they traded for. It's really fun. I like their secondary a lot. And I think this defense is really, really good. And it's going to win a lot of games for the Texans if their offense does struggle again. Special teams is good as well. Kaimi Fairbairn and Tommy Townsend. They're going to be really fun to watch. So, yeah, I really like this Texans team. This Texans team is going to be really fun to watch. Especially that defense. That's going to be... I'm going to be really watching their defense this year. I'm really excited to watch this Houston team on defense. And their offense. Hopefully their offense is better, even though their offensive line looks concerning. And yeah, I have the Texans winning the AFC South. So now we go to the AFC East. And starting in last, I thought about putting the Dolphins here, honestly, but it's the Jets. I have the Jets coming in last. Justin Fields, I think, is going to be electric for them. Breece Hall, I think, is going to be really good again running the football. Garrett Wilson at receiver is going to be fun to watch. And then offensive line took a big hit as Vera Tucker went down for the year. But their offensive line is kind of concerning. Defense might be pretty solid. Will McDonald was really good rushing the quarterback. Harrison Phillips can snuff out the run at D-tackle. Quinton Williams can get to the quarterback. And their linebacking core of Quincy Williams, who was an All-Pro, I don't think it was last year, but 2 years ago. I could be wrong. And Jamian Sherwood had a solid season last year. And then you got Sauce Gardner in the secondary. Who is Sauce Gardner? He's one of the best corners in the league. And hold on. Is that Andre Sisco? The former Jags free safety on the Jets? That's another one of these, wow, he signed their moments. Because when I first saw that, I was looking at depth charts last night. And I saw him here and not in Jacksonville. I'm thinking, wow, the Jags got rid of him? I thought he was pretty solid. I thought he was pretty good for the Jags. But yeah, he only signed a 1 year, like $5 million deal with the Jets. And I think that's going to be one of the best pickups of the season. Honestly, I think Andre Sisco is going to thrive with the Jets. Yeah, I really like that signing for New York. But I think they're going to be a 6 to 7 win team. But it's still not going to be enough to get them out of the basement. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they finish ahead of the Dolphins, honestly. But, yeah, the Jets finished last in the AFC East. Yeah, AFC East. Coming home in third, it is the Dolphins. And the Dolphins are dependent on a couple things. One, Tua's health. Can Tua stay healthy? Hopefully Devon Achane can stay healthy as well. He's a really fun and electric running back to watch. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a receiver. One of the best receivers in the game. Jalen Waddle. Hopefully he can bounce back. And they dragged Darren Waller out of retirement, which is going to be interesting how that goes. So, yeah. Offensive line, not sure how that's going to be this year. But the defense should be fun to watch. Chop Robinson, Matthew Judon, Zach Sealer, Bradley Chubb going after the quarterback, as well as Jalen Phillips. I like their linebacking core of Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson. But they lost some of their secondary pieces to season-ending injuries. And I'm not sure how they're going to be this year. Although they did trade for Minka again. They brought Minka back to Miami. But they got rid of Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith while doing it. So it is what it is. At least you got Minka back. I didn't think he was ever going to be a Dolphin again. But here he is. He's back in Miami. He's back in the 305. But yeah, this Dolphins team is kind of beat up right now. I don't think it's going to get much better. So hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't know. I think Miami's going to struggle, and I think Mike McDaniel's going to get fired. So I have the Dolphins coming home in third. Second place, it is the New England Patriots. Patriots. They brought back an alumni as head coach. Mike Vrabel is the Pats head coach. I'm really excited about that for Patriots fans. Drake May showed a lot of promise his first year. I think he's going to build on that year 2. Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson are going to be some fun running backs to watch. You signed Stephon Diggs, which, okay, I guess that'll help Drake out. Although Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte, they had pretty good seasons last year. And you got Hunter Henry as well. Will Campbell, hopefully he can show out on the offensive line this year. He's going to be the really intriguing part as a protective force for Drake May. Now the defensive line. Christian Barmore is back. You signed Milton Williams. Keon White showed flashes last year. You signed Robert Spillane and Harold Landry and Carlton Davis, which I really like those signings for them. And then Christian Gonzalez and Marcus Jones in the secondary, as well as Davis. But the Patriots, they made moves. They made moves to improve the team, and I really liked it. I really liked how New England is building this team. I think they can make the playoffs this year. I really think they can. I honestly think Harold Landry is going to get shown. He's going to be more well-known than he was. Only people that really know him are Titans fans. And it's been a while since Tennessee's been in the playoffs. But that was another one of my favorite acquisitions this offseason. And he should be really fun to watch for New England fans. But yeah, I think this team can make the playoffs. I don't think they can win the division just yet. Maybe another year. But we'll see. Hopefully the Pats make the playoffs. I'd like to see them there. But coming in first in the AFC East, Buffalo, the Bills. Bills almost made the Super Bowl this last year. Lost to the Chiefs in the championship in the AFC. But they have enough firepower on offense to bring them back. Josh Allen's still here. James Cook got paid. Khalil Shakir had a really good season last year. Keon Coleman was solid. Got Kincaid at Knox in the tight end spot. And then still got Deion Dawkins holding down the offensive line. He got paid too, I'm pretty sure, this offseason. So their offense is still going to be fine. Or fine. They're going to be good. But the defense is what concerns me. You still have Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver, AJ Epinesa on the defensive line. Sign Joey Bosa, which we'll see if he can stay healthy. Sign Shaq Thompson, which I think is a really underrated get. Hopefully Matt Milano comes back from injury and looks like his all-pro self. And then the secondary is interesting. Brought back Tre'Davious White, which is okay, I guess. I'm not sure how he's going to be. Especially since Hairston is out for a few weeks, which sucks. Taylor Rapp was pretty good. He's solid. Benford was pretty good last year. Teron Johnson was really good last year. Not sure how Cole Bishop's going to be. We'll see. But the Bills' defense, there are some question marks there. But we'll see how it goes for Buffalo. And I still think they're going to win the division. Will they make it as far as last year? Not sure. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And now the last division in the AFC. It is the AFC West. And coming in last, I have the Raiders. Amari Cooper just announced his retirement today, so they won't have him anymore. But they traded for Geno. They hired Pete Carroll. Drafted Ashton Genty. But receiver's kind of a question mark right now. You're not sure if Jacoby Myers is going to stay the whole year. Amari Cooper's out because he's retired. Your best wide receiver right now is Trey Tucker. You have Brock Bowers, which is nice. One of the probably the best tight end in the league, honestly. He is here. And then offensive line, not sure how it's going to be besides Colton Miller. He's really fun to watch. And then the defense. Christian Wilkins is gone, unfortunately, because he got hurt, and then something else happened. But you still have Max Crosby. You signed Jermaine Pratt, which is a nice get for the linebacking core. I like the signing of Jeremy Chin. But besides that, not sure what else to look forward to on this defense. They lost Robert Spillane, one of their big linebackers, to really help them out. But at least you got Jermaine Pratt to replace him. And then they have arguably the best punter in the league, A.J. Cole, and Daniel Carlson, who isn't the same as what he once was, but he's still okay. But I don't think Las Vegas will make the playoffs this year. I think they'll be right around 500. But I think this is just a building year, and then they're going to try and build for another year and then really go at it in the third year of the Geno and Pete Carroll era. But I have the Raiders coming home in fourth. Coming in third is the Chargers. And losing Rashawn Slater sucks. Your best offensive lineman, gone. Gone for the year with injury. Well, that's okay. Your offensive line is still pretty good, even though you don't have Slater. You still have Joe Alt. Bradley Bozeman coming over from Carolina is a good signing. You got Mekhi Becton from the Champions. And then Zion Johnson and Trey Pipkins are your other two linemen. So overall, I think it's still a pretty good offensive line. Justin Herbert's still the quarterback. Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris are the running backs. That's going to be a fun 1-2 duo. Lab McConkey is going to be your number one guy. Keenan Allen is back. That's going to be pretty fun to watch. That's going to be big for him. And the offense should be pretty decent. Then the defense. Rushing the quarterback is going to be interesting. Tupolotu is going to be probably your best pass rusher outside of Khalil Mack since Bosa's gone. Dion Henley and Denzel Perryman are going to be fun. Linebacking duo. And then surprised they didn't bring back Asante Samuel Jr. I was surprised to see he's still a free agent. But you still have Derwin James and Dante Jackson. And then Dicker the kicker's still here. So, Chargers still should be in playoff contention, but I think since Denver got a lot better and Kansas City's still Kansas City, I think they're going to end up third. So, I have LA finishing third in the West and just falling short of a division crown. I think the Chiefs are still going to win the division. I just spoiled that. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than what it was last year because I think Denver's going to finish with the same record as them, which means the Broncos will be second in the West. Bo Nix, I think, is going to build on a really good rookie year. They signed J.K. Dobbins and drafted R.J. Harvey to fix the running back issue. Cortland Sutton's still here. He got paid. Marvin Mims Jr. hopefully can get the ball more because he's a really good receiver. When healthy. He's hurt right now. Hopefully he can play. They signed Evan Ingram, which is really good. It's a really good get to have. Their tight end spot was a big weakness. And then the offensive line. Garrett Bowles and Quinn Meinert's holding it down. Ben Powers is solid. Mike McGlinchey, that contract really hasn't worked out the way the Broncos wanted it to. But, yeah. And then the defense, which I think the Broncos defense is going to be the best defense in all of football. They paid Zach Allen, who was so good last year, getting to the quarterback out of the defensive tackle spot. DJ Jones was solid. John Franklin Myers was solid. Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito coming off the edge to go sack the quarterback is one of the most underrated duos, pass rushing duos in the league. Probably the most underrated pass rushing duo. And Bonito just got paid today. The Broncos just paid him. Alex Singleton hopefully will come back from injury like he's been a tackle machine. And they got another tackle machine to pair alongside of him. Dre Greenlaw, who was one of the best linebackers in the sport with the Niners, is now a Bronco. Pat Surtain, the reigning depoy, is on this team. Riley Moss hopefully can bounce back after a struggling finish to last season. Brandon Jones is a good signing for this team. And then they brought in Talanoa Hufanga, who was a really fun player to watch with the Niners. Although it did kind of tail off due to injury, but I think he can regain his 49ers form. He wasn't that bad. And Will Lutz is still the kicker. He's still the kicker. He's still kicking for Sean Payton. As soon as Sean Payton retires, I think Will Lutz is going to be either retired or not a Bronco anymore right after that, because Will Lutz has to kick for Sean Payton. But yeah, I think Denver's going to be really fun to watch this year. I really like their team. I think they really made the 4 big acquisitions of Dobbins, Ingram, Greenlaw, and Hufanga are going to really help this team out. And I think they're going to be good enough to tie Kansas City, but not beat them in the division. I have the Chiefs still winning the division because they are the Kansas City Chiefs. Do not doubt them. Patrick Mahomes is still here. He's really good, of course. Isaiah Pacheco hopefully can stay healthy. Last year, it was pain watching him get hurt. And then Xavier Worthy is the wide receiver 1 for Kansas City right now because Rashee Rice is suspended. But you got Hollywood Brown, who hopefully will be better this year. Or I should say be more healthier this year. Hopefully he's healthy. Still got Travis Kelce. And then Noah Gray, I think, is going to get more receptions. And then the offensive line is led by Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. Their duo in the middle of the offensive line. They're both really, really good. And then the defense. George Karlaftis and Chris Jones are going to be wrecking stuff on the defensive line. They're going to be really coming after quarterbacks this year. Mike Dana, I think, could do it too. He was pretty good last year too. Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, Leo Chenal are really good linebackers for this team. I really like all 3 of them. Nick Bolton, I think, is the best out of those 3. I really like Nick Bolton. I think he's very underrated. The secondary, still kind of shaky, but I think it'll work. Aside from Trent McDuffie, he's really freaking good. He's an all-pro, and yeah, the Chiefs didn't miss a beat even after trading away L'Jarius Sneed. And then their special teams, I think, will be really good too. They still have Harrison Butker and the punt god punting the ball. But Kansas City's still Kansas City. They're still the same team, basically. And, yeah, they should win the division and go far in the playoffs yet again. So now let's go to the playoff teams in the AFC. So the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Texans are going to win the divisions. I have the Broncos making a wild card spot, obviously, because they tied Kansas City. Now this is where it gets hard, because there's a couple of teams that I think can make the playoffs, like the Bengals and the Steelers and the Patriots, the Jaguars, as well as the Chargers. So it's going to be a very tough choice. Who do I think will make it out of those teams? I will say the Chargers, they'll make it again, and the Bengals. I think the Cincinnati Bengals will get back there. I think all 7 playoff teams will have 10 or more wins, just like... Did that happen? No, the Texans didn't. Or did they? Did the Texans have 10 wins? I thought they had 9. Hang on. I gotta see something. 2024 Texans. Did they have 10 wins, or was it 9? Okay, they did have 10 wins. So I think everybody finished with 10 wins. Let me see the Broncos then. Did they have 10 wins? Or was it 9? It was 10. Okay, so everybody did have 10 wins. So I think it's going to be the same thing, where every AFC team has 10 or more wins in making the playoffs. So my playoff teams in the AFC are the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, Broncos, Chargers, and Bengals. Now let's get to the awards. MVP. It's going to be a quarterback. We all know that. Do I think it'll be Josh Allen again? Probably not. It could be, but I don't think so. I want to be different. It could be Lamar, could be Mahomes, could be Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert maybe, Bo Nix, Dak Prescott. You never know. It could be anybody. But this year, I think it goes to Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow will win the MVP because he'll have to put up so much numbers to drag the Bengals into the playoffs with a rough defense again. And I think because of that, because he'll actually make the playoffs this time and not just miss out by a game, I think Joe Burrow gets most valuable player in the National Football League. Now let's go to Protector of the Year, the new Offensive Lineman Award. And this is a player that not many people are going to know. But he went to a school in Wisconsin, a Division II school. And his career has really worked out. He was an All-Pro for the first time last year. Should have been a Pro Bowler, but he wasn't. And the only people that are going to know him are Broncos fans. And myself, because I like to follow every team. But winning Protector of the Year, I'll say Quinn Meinerz. Quinn Meinerz, also known as the Gut, because he likes to show off his gut, which is very funny. He went to UW-Whitewater, a Division II school. Got drafted in the 3rd round a few years back, and he was really good for the Broncos ever since. Finally, he got recognition for it. He was an All-Pro last year. Hopefully this year he'll make the Pro Bowl. I think he and Garrett Bowles will lock down that offensive line for Denver. But I think Meinerz is going to do a little bit better job than everybody else. I think he's going to get the Protector of the Year award. Now, let's go to Offensive Player of the Year. And this is a very tough choice because there's a lot of people it could be. Could it be Jamar Chase? Could it be Justin Jefferson? Saquon Barkley? CeeDee Lamb? A.J. Brown? Terry McLaurin? Josh Jacobs? It could be a lot of people. Oh, Jackson Smith and Jigba. But who will it go to? Who do I think it'll go to? It'll be a big name. It could even be a quarterback. I don't think it'll be a quarterback. But the person getting Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go out on a limb because this man had such a nasty rookie season. He was so good as a rookie for Jacksonville. I think he's going to do it. Brian Thomas Jr. is my Offensive Player of the Year. And, whew, man, I really didn't expect much from Brian Thomas Jr. last year, but he blew me out of the water last year. Holy crap, he was really good. I really can't wait to see how he is this year to follow up that amazing first season. LSU, man, they produce great wide receivers, and Brian Thomas Jr. is another addition of that. And I think he wins Offensive Player of the Year as a key reason to why the Jags get back to relevancy again. So now we'll go to the Defensive Player of the Year, and there is a ton of options. Pat Surtain, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, Max Crosby, Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Sauce Gardner. So many options. Do I think it'll be a corner again? Yes, I think it will be a secondary player again. It probably won't be, but it could be. You never know. And I don't think it's going to be Pat Surtain this time. I think it's going to be the man, the only other corner that could have a legit argument with Surtain as the best cornerback in the National Football League, and that is Derek Stingley Jr. of the Texans. Honestly, I thought about Will Anderson as being Defensive Player of the Year because he very well could be as well. I honestly think he or Stingley could get it, but I think Derek Stingley's going to get it because he honestly was really good last year, just like Surtain was. And yeah, I really like the way he plays. He's a ball hawk. He makes insane interceptions. He can lock you down. He's a really good corner. And the Texans, I didn't think he was going to go third overall, but the Texans were aggressive and picked him third. And hey, it worked. It's clearly worked. He's one of the best. He's a top 2 corner in the game, arguably the best. And I think this year he goes back-to-back with Surtain, and back-to-back years a corner wins Defensive Player of the Year. So yeah, Derek Stingley's my Defensive Player of the Year. Brian Thomas Jr. is my Offensive Player of the Year. They both come from the AFC South. Now let's go to Rookies of the Year, where I said both of mine already. I said Tetairoa McMillan and Will Johnson for Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. And one of the big reasons why I picked both of them is because not many people are talking about them. I think they're going to be really good players. I've only seen one person pick, one like big YouTuber that picked either McMillan or Johnson to win Rookies of the Year. And it was McMillan to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Will Johnson, he fell to the second round. I thought he was going to go in the first, but he didn't. He fell to the second round, and the Cardinals got a good one. I loved what he did at Michigan. I think he's going to be really good right away for the Cardinals. They're going to get another secondary piece to join Thompson and Baker. And I'm really excited about what he can do, and I think he's going to earn Rookie of the Year spot. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I should say. I got to specify, obviously. And then I think Tetairoa McMillan's going to come into Carolina and be the number one guy for Carolina, be the number one guy for Bryce. I think he gets close to 1,500 yards this year receiving, have like 10 touchdowns. And I think he comes in as a game changer for Carolina as they make their way back to the postseason for the first time in almost a decade. So, yeah, Tetairoa McMillan's my Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Will Johnson, the corner on the Cardinals, is my Defensive Rookie of the Year. And that's it for my predictions of this NFL season. It was a long video. My voice is gone. But, yeah, it's really fun to make these prediction videos, and we'll see if I'm right or wrong. Most likely I'll be wrong at the end of the year, but you never know. So, yeah, that's all for me. Have fun tonight for the NFL season opener. See you later. RB out. Peace.